Welcome viewers to Afya Yetu, a TV program which brings you all matters health. Today we are talking about family planning. As we know, family planning is an area of interest because this is where we get the control of the population, and also it's an issue where it's a very whatever ni issue yenye it's an area of interest. So to get us live, we are live on Tumaini TV, we are live on Nyaluk pages, that's Instagram and Facebook, and we are also live at Tumaini KE YouTube. And to get us to, you can send us an SMS through 011 0100 258 or 0736 99 1958, and the numbers will be running on your screen. And with me I have a senior nurse and an advocate of the High Court. Kindly, you can introduce yourself. Okay,
I'm Mona Dhiambo, a nurse, and I'll be talking to you about family planning issues, the ones that we have available, and any questions you have, you can ask through the number that you have been given.
Yes, my name is Diogratias Omondi Ochieng. I'm a director at Nyaluk Foundation. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and I'm also the board's legal advisor. Thank you for having me.
So to start us off, maybe we can just tell our viewers what family planning is. So family planning is anything which you take to prevent a pregnancy, as in kitu yenye unatumia kuzuia kupata mimba. It can be either natural or not natural, it can be medicinal or non-medicinal, it can be a molecule or a barrier. So to start us off, as Nyaluk Foundation, we deal with matters sexual and reproductive health among the youth, and as recently as I don't know, last month or early this month, where we get so many young ladies getting pregnant at early adolescent age, and the crisis on HIV infection to these adolescents. So as Nyaluk Foundation, we are trying to prevent early pregnancy. Then we are also trying to mitigate on sexually transmitted infection and some complications related to these early pregnancies and early exposure to sexual intercourse. So with me here I have an experienced nurse who has been dealing with this family planning for a while, and maybe Mona, if you can tell us about family planning. What can you tell us about family planning, and who can get the family planning?
Okay, among the family planning methods that we have, family planning enables one to space the number of children that they want. It also helps one to prevent unwanted pregnancy, and I think those to space the number of children and to prevent unwanted pregnancy. So among the family planning methods that we have the long-term methods and the short-term methods. In the long-term methods, we have the likes of coil. The coil can be hormonal or non-hormonal, and the coil, there's one for 10 years and another one for around 12 years. The non-hormonal one that we have is for 10 years, Among the long-term methods, we also have the implants, one for 5 years and another one for 3 years. And the short-term methods, we have the pills, emergency pills. We have the normal pills that we take, the one for breastfeeding mothers, that is, it has only progesterone, and we have one that can be used for those who are not breastfeeding, and it has 2 hormones. And then we also have the monthly injections. We have an injectable family planning method known as DEPO commonly, and it can be injected 3 monthly. It goes for 3 months before the next cycle. And we also have the condom as a family planning method, and the advantage of a condom is that it can also prevent sexually transmitted diseases, it can prevent HIV and AIDS, and it can also be used as a family planning method. We have the male condoms and the female condoms. So mostly the male condoms are the ones that people are used to, but we also have the female condoms, and whoever has issues or has never seen one, we have them at our facility. You can come, we tell you how to use them. Yeah, only that.
And Wakili,
Yes.
what's the right age to start having sex?
To start, so the age of majority in Kenya is 18 years. That is the age of majority. That is when you are deemed to be having capacity to make decisions individually on your own. Any age below 18 years, you are deemed not to have consent to engage in sex. So as it stands right now, the age of majority is 18 years. Although when it comes to, we also have assumptions under the law, like for instance, when it comes to culpability in terms of sexual offenses, for boys, so long as a boy reaches the age of 12, they are deemed to be sexually aware of the organs in their body. So a boy who is aged 12 can actually be charged for rape in court. But in juvenile courts, we have a juvenile system that actually punishes children, that actually takes care of children who are in conflict with the law. But I would say the age of majority in Kenya, the legal age, is 18 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've said that a boy, when he gets to 12 years,
Yes.
he can be charged with rape.
Yes.
What about
with crime, criminal culpability, essentially.
What about the other gender?
The other gender for females, I believe females, it is 14 years of age.
14 years?
Yes.
Why 14?
And really the rationale behind that is not really understandable. But I would want to say mainly it is because for quite a while, for quite a period, you see the female has been, the society has been patriarchal in nature.
Yes.
So essentially, as per right now, a lot of affirmative action is being directed towards the female. Yes. We have lots and lots of policies and laws being enacted, yes, to try, yeah, to equate, to bring about equality, yes, between the two genders. Okay. So I would, in accordance with me, I would want to say maybe that is one of the reasons as to why that has been raised, yes, to 14, yes, for the ladies. Yes, but there's a review, there's a conversation that is ongoing also in terms of trying to review the laws to bring back the age of consent from 18 to 16. Yes. Yes, you can be able to read about the debates. It is a debate that is ongoing in Parliament, and it is very controversial. But we are hoping that as a progressive society, yeah, we might be able perhaps to reach a consensus on, okay, being able to reduce the same. My sentiments though. Yes.
Okay, so as our Ebo nurse has told us, we have different types of family planning, but I would like to echo on that. The family planning, we normally divide them into two, hormonal and non-hormonal. So like non-hormonal, hizi ni zenye ziko na molecules. Molecules kwa Kiswahili ni molecule. So these are molecules, as in they have something that mimics the hormones in your system, like let's say like progesterone. Progesterone, you produce progesterone in your system through the ovaries, through something called the follicles, of ovarian follicles, and also they are produced in other areas like the liver and maybe the the adrenal gland. So these hormones, we can make them synthetically in the lab so that they can be used to mimic these hormones. Like they work under something called negative feedback mechanism in your brain to stop the production of these hormones. So you know, without these hormones you cannot ovulate. So without ovulation somebody cannot get pregnant. And non-hormonal, we can also call them barrier methods. Like she has said that we have condoms, and we have tubes which blocks the fallopian tubes so that the sperms cannot get their way into the uterus, because we know it's the uterus where the fertilization takes place. So in this category of family planning, like the broad category, I would like to know, Mona, at what age is deemed right to start receiving this family planning? Or maybe if a child 8 years, 10 years walked into your nursing room and asked for this family planning, will you give them? Or I would like to know, at what age should we start giving this family planning?
Okay, most of the girls start getting their menses at 12 to 14 years.
Yes.
And we have the youth-friendly services. The youth-friendly services are offered to adolescents between 16 to 18 years. So anybody between 16 to 18 years can get the family planning services without consent from their parents, but anybody below 16 years must be consented for by the parents. And then anyone above 18 years can get the services at any time they want, because they are free to consent for themselves.
Okay, let's say a 14-year-old comes to your facility and she tells you that she has been having sex, and the parents don't know, and she fears getting pregnant, and she asks for family planning, and she doesn't want you to tell the parents. What will you do?
What age?
14.
For a 14-year-old?
Yes.
For a 14-year-old, we can only advise them to abstain.
Yes.
And maybe the use of condoms, because the long-term family planning methods and the short-term family planning methods have various side effects. So then they have to get permission from the parents first, but we can encourage them to abstain or use condoms, because condoms is a method of family planning also.
So she comes to you, she tells you about her case, and you opt not to give the family planning, and next time she comes back to your clinic at antenatal care, will you feel guilty for that?
No, I don't feel guilty, because the law, there's nothing I would have gone against, because the law requires them to have consent from the parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wakili? Yes.
Do you think parents should consent to their children to get family planning at age maybe above the age of below the age of the majority?
Yes, definitely. Because when you're below the age of majority, the rationale, essentially what we are saying is that you do not have capacity to decide for yourself. You still remain to be a minor so long as you are under the age of 18. So when someone is under the age of 18, for you to administer family planning on them, definitely you have to get that that decision, that yes, go ahead, from the guardian or the parent of that person. Yes, you are not allowed to administer family planning. They do not have capacity essentially to decide. Yes.
Okay. Now I want us maybe if Mona can tell us, because I know for a fact that not everybody can get any family planning anytime. So maybe can you kindly narrow down maybe the specific who cannot get the contraindications of family planning, who can get these and who cannot get the same molecule, and maybe health related issues on family planning?
Okay, when one comes for family planning methods, there are various, not only the family planning is given, we take their vital signs, that includes the weight, the height, and the blood pressure. And when your blood pressure is high, you are not allowed to use some of the methods. Like you cannot use the Depo-Provera method, you cannot use the Implanon methods. also when you have issues with weight, some of the family planning methods like the Depo-Provera, some have the side effects of gaining weight, some may lose weight. So when you have issues with obesity or nearing obesity, you are not allowed to use some of the family planning methods. But if your vitals are taken and you are within the normal range, you are allowed to use any of those. And then also if you are suffering from conditions such as cervical cancer, you cannot use some of the family planning methods like the IUCD, either the hormonal one or the non-hormonal one. You cannot use them.
Oh, okay. So I would like to know maybe I would like to know the relationship between family planning and infertility, because tunapata si wagonjwa but ni clients wanasema ati alitumia family planning, a method of family planning, na sasa hizi pata mimba. So nataka our able nurse here to really tell us, is it a myth or is something which is true that some family planning actually causes infertility?
Okay, about infertility and family planning, that is a myth, because just like other drugs, you can find that there are other people who can take a certain drug and have no side effect, and when someone uses the same drug, they have adverse side effects or they have other complications. So just like that, also in family planning, like you were told before, it contains some molecules, some hormones that are introduced into the body. So with time, like if you use them for a long time, it might require you some time for the chemicals to clear off the body so that you can gain your fertility back. But the issue of family planning causing infertility is a myth because it works over time.
Okay. Wakili, let's say that a client comes to you and maybe he or she maybe tells you that he was given a certain family planning. He didn't want maybe the wife to get pregnant, or he didn't want to have a baby, or the lady didn't want to get pregnant, and now she's pregnant and she was on a family planning. Is he or she in any capacity to sue the doctor, or how do we go about it?
I would say it depends.
Yeah.
You will find that in certain, specifically in the medical field, you will find that in certain specific cases, patients normally get to sign agreements in which they would say that, you see, we are doing, like for instance, let's use an example of vasectomy.
Yeah.
Vasectomy can either, work, or at some point it gets to fail. I believe when you are undergoing the procedure of vasectomy, you consent to undergoing it, and in those documents it is written that this is not 100% effective. At some point it might not be able to work as effective as it was. In that case, you will not be able to sue as an individual because you are aware of the risks. But where there is no prior agreement that indicates that, then normally the law normally issues a presumption of reasonable belief, reasonable expectation. So where you've not given that disclaimer that this might or might not work, there are no documents that were executed, that were signed, and afterwards it gets not to work, then that patient definitely is at liberty to sue the doctor for what has happened.
Okay. So just to echo on what Wakili has said, we have a family planning by the name vasectomy. Vasectomy is a family planning, is like a permanent family planning, which is done to a man where the sperm duct is cut off. And we have two types of vasectomy. There's a permanent one and there's a temporary one. But normally, when maybe within 6 months, if you want to do our permanent vasectomy, within 6 months to 1 year, you should open the tube. But if you want to do a permanent one, is where we tie the ends of the sperm duct, then we cut it off. And as Wakili said also, there are times when you tie and it can untie and it allows the sperms to pass. But normally it can be corrected, but the chances of getting pregnant of making a lady pregnant after vasectomy is very minimal. And also we have a permanent family planning for women, which is called bilateral tubal ligation, where also we tie the two tubes. We can do permanent or semi-permanent, is where we tie the two tubes, then cut, or we can just tie and leave them like that. And maybe if a lady decides otherwise after some time, we can always go and open the tubes and the lady can always get pregnant. But there are cases where you can untie the tubes, then put a stent to allow the ovary to pass. But after that, you get that there are minimal chances of getting pregnant, or if the lady can get pregnant, we risk getting an ectopic pregnancy. So we want to take a very short break, and we would like our viewers to send us their questions through the text, using the number on your screen. And after we come back after the break, we'll be talking about complications of family planning and how we can manage complications of family planning. Thank you.
Je, ungependa kuwafikia wateja wengi? Ungependa kuongeza mauzo yako licha ya hali ya sasa kiuchumi? Basi Tumaini TV ndio mshirika wako wa karibu wa matangazo ya kibiashara. Umati wetu mkubwa unasubiria kusikia ambacho utawapa kwa leo. Mbona usiongee nasi leo? Chukua fursa hii, utupigia simu kwa 0736991958 ama 0778251419. Vile unaweza tuandikia barua pepe kwa info@tumainitv.co.ke. Tumaini TV, bringing hope to the nations.
Are you a bishop, a pastor, or a church leader looking for a reliable, popular, and affordable TV station to air your sermons? Search no more. We have some good news for you. Tumaini TV is offering you the best package to broadcast your church services and sermons. Call us today and join us in bringing hope to the nations. Our lines are open. You can reach us on 0736 991 958 or 011 0100 258, or email us on info@tumainitv.co.ke. Tumaini TV.
Welcome back, viewers. We are on a show by the name Afya Yetu on Tumaini TV. This is a show which comes to you courtesy of Nyaluk Foundation. Nyaluk Foundation is a sexual and reproductive health, and we also have gender-based violence department, we have legal aid department, we have dental department, and we have eye care services under the same umbrella. So to start you guys off, I'll start with a question where I'm getting a young man here asking about how would we advise the youth on family planning. So Mona, kindly tell us on how you advise the youth on family planning. Should they take it or should they not take it?
Okay, like I had said before, we have the youth-friendly services, and the youth-friendly services are offered to adolescents between 16 to 18 years. So for the youth, first we always advise them to abstain, but in case they cannot abstain, there are family planning methods that can be offered to them, and that include the use of condoms. And also, after we have taken the vitals for a person, we can advise them on the kind of family planning to use according to their age and according to their needs. So yes, family planning methods can be offered to the youth.
Then there is somebody by the name Njeri. She's asking, she was given a family planning, and now she has been having an intermittent bleeding for the last 2 years. That anataka any advice. So I would tell Njeri that as we alluded before, that family planning is an exogenous hormone, like ni hormone yenye inatengenezwa kwa lab, then inakuwa subjected to your body, unadungwa or unaweza meza or any other method. So when you get this family planning, they normally interfere with your normal hormones, like interfere with venye mwili yako imejipanga kuproduce those hormones. So unaweza pata after you've been subjected to a certain family planning, you can have this intermittent bleeding. Una bleed leo, unakosa kesho, unapata, then it also interferes with your cycle. So I would tell Jerry that that's one of the complications of family planning, and normally it's due to hormonal imbalance. So if you have such like a case, you are advised to go to the nearest health facility, and the doctor there will give you a drug to balance your hormones, and you won't have intermittent bleeding. And Mona wants to add something on it.
Okay, I can tell Jerry that among the side effects of family planning, there are those who, your cycle, like Collins has said, your cycle changes. So there are those who get maybe their menses come more days than they were having before they started using the family planning methods. Some don't get menses at all. Some add weight, some reduce weight. Some get migraines or headaches. Some have abdominal pains or backache. So whatever she is experiencing is a normal family side effect of family planning. And she said she's been bleeding for 2 years. I hope she can visit a health facility, or she can come to Nyaluk so that we can assess her and offer her a solution to her problem. But she should not get worried, because just that is one of the side effects. But she should come, we check on her.
So Wakili,
Yes.
can you tell us some of the laws which guides family planning?
Okay. So to start us off about the legal regime that guides family planning, we have the Constitution of Kenya 2010. The Constitution of Kenya of 2010 has elaborate provisions on the family. Article 45(1) specifically says the family is the natural, basic and fundamental unit of the society. So the state has tasked itself with the responsibility to be able to protect the family unit, because number one, the family unit gives rise to the most important resource to exist in modern civilization. That is the human resource. So essentially, we have laws that have been put in place to be able to guide family planning. As I had stated, number one, we have the Constitution. The Constitution also guarantees each and every individual access to quality health care. Family planning is part of quality health care. So in terms of just a general overview, the Constitution already has provisions for that. And we also have, apart from just the Constitution, currently we have a bill in the Senate that is called the Reproductive Health Care Bill 2019. The Reproductive Health Care Bill 2019 has specific provisions for family planning. Section 6 of that bill talks about access to family planning services, and Section 7 goes ahead to talk about the right to reproductive health information. So essentially, we have an elaborate legal framework that has been put in place to be able to provide for access to legal services, for access to family planning services. It is there, and it is just implementation that I would say is what is remaining in terms of being able to achieve the laid down provisions for family planning. Yes.
Okay. Then now we want to talk about the complications of family planning. So one of the complications of family planning is sub-infertility. Sub-infertility is like maybe you've gotten pregnant before and now you cannot get pregnant because of family planning. So this is due to hormonal imbalance, which is brought about by family planning. So if you've been having children and now you cannot have a child because you've been subjected to a certain family planning. It's due to hormonal imbalance, and we have drugs to correct that. And another complication of family planning, it can be indirect or direct, where you get maybe like Njeri has been bleeding for the last 3 years, and now she's likely to develop anemia. Anemia is just the low HB count in your system, and we can also correct that by giving hematinics and also balancing the hormone so that she stops bleeding frequently. Then another complication of a family planning is something called ectopic pregnancy, where you get the implantation, like after fertilization, the fertilized egg moves to the uterus, but some implants in the tubes or other places outside the uterus. So that's one of barrier method, which is called IUD. So if you get pregnant with IUD, probability that you'll get a tubal pregnancy is so high. So that's one of the complications of a family planning. And also people with a family planning like IUD, intrauterine device, they tend to get more of cervicitis and UTIs because of that thread. So we normally advise people who are on such family planning to be faithful to their partner and also to maintain the hygiene. And also cervicitis is just the inflammation of the cervix, where you get around the cervix kuna imefura, iko na some inflammation, inaweza kuwa due to irritations, so unapata something like such. Alafu another complication of family planning, you can get mild headaches and crampy, unapata unaumwa sana na tumbo. So hiyo ni the effect of family planning on the uterus. And we also have other family planning, because other complication of family planning, like if we do like a long-term method, the one we do under local anesthesia and the others we do under general anesthesia. So you can always develop something called adhesions, and also maybe chronic back pains due to the agent which was used as an anesthesia. So Mona, I just want you to tell us about myths or misconceptions about family planning, if you know any.
The misconception and myths about family planning. Some people say that when you use family planning before you have any kids, you can get infertile and not have kids when you want them. And this is a myth, because like we said earlier, family planning contains hormones, and when you use them, the hormones alter the way your body functions. So like when you want to get pregnant, the cycle for people are different. There are those who can stop using family planning today, and by the next month they are able to carry a pregnancy. And then there are those who can take months, and there are those who can take years. So it depends with one's body and for how long the chemicals that were in the family planning can clear off your body. Another misconception is that when you have family planning like the IUCD, that your partner can feel it while you're having sex. So that is a misconception, because the coil is inserted in the uterus. The whole of it goes into the uterus, and when you're having sex, the penetration can only get to the cervix. So the IUCD is in the uterus and not in the cervix, so it cannot be felt by your partner when you're having sex.
Oh, Wakili.
Yes.
So so you've said that there's a law in parliament.
Yes.
There's a law in parliament. In Senate, right?
Yes, it is in the Senate. It has already been passed to the National Assembly. I believe it is about to get enacted. That essentially should be having very elaborate provisions on family planning.
Yes.
Essentially, as we know, health is a devolved function right now. Health has been devolved to the county governments.
Yes.
So essentially, the national government funds the county governments for the county governments to be able to make health accessible to each and everyone. Perhaps just to point out a few provisions of this bill. This bill states that the national and county governments shall put in place mechanisms to facilitate access to family planning services and counseling services, you see. So you see already we have a framework that recognizes there's a need for policies, for a law, for a national policy that guides family planning, and it also recognizes that it might give rise to conditions that might require counseling. So already we have a policy that says we have access to it. We are encouraging people to, engage in it, for us to be able to control human resource, for us to be able to control population. It is important because you see, once you are able to control population, when you are able to control population as a nation, it helps in planning for the future. It helps in actually every aspect. It stretches, you will find it spilling into the budget process, you see. Once you are able to control your population, you can project and say, in the next 10 years, because we have a population that is actively taking family planning, we have a population that we know we are controlling in this manner, we can budget and say, you see, in the next 10 years, we can be able to be allocating this amount of resource to health. We can be able to be allocating this amount of resource to infrastructure. So in terms of provision, would also say the bill also provides for the right to access to reproductive health information specifically. I believe most, and I even believe our facility here, with time, and even today, I think if you go around and you get to ask for the health professionals that we have brought on board today, they will give you the information that you require, the much needed information on healthcare. And I believe in other public facilities, other public hospitals, we have information, we have flyers, we have resources on the information that is much needed on family planning. I want to say there are a lot of misconceptions, you see, surrounding family planning, and most of us, we only look at family planning from that perspective of we are preventing a pregnancy, you see. But we need to, I would also want to say that we need to look at it from a bigger point of view, which is just not preventing a pregnancy, but being able specifically to manage our population, our human resource, for planning purposes and for posterity as a nation. Yes.
So there is somebody here on our social media platform by the name Alan is asking, what are the benefits of oral contraceptives?
Oral contraceptives?
Yes.
Okay, for the oral contraceptives, we have the pills.
Yes.
And they just use the same method as the other family planning methods.
Yeah.
They prevent ovulation.
Yeah.
And prevent penetration of the sperm when the eggs has been released. So like I said, there are those oral contraceptives that are used by mothers who are breastfeeding. Those are used within the first 6 weeks after birth. And they are progesterone only pills. And then we have the combined pills that are used by both those who are not breastfeeding and the rest of the population.
Okay. So another benefit of oral contraceptive is because it's non-invasive, as in hakuna uchungu audungwi, so utameza tu na maji, alafu then another benefit is it's cheap, affordable and available, and you don't need a health expert to administer it. You can go and buy it over the counter and just take it as an individual. Others, you need a health professional to administer, and also maybe if you develop any complication, you need also a health practitioner or an expert to go and remove that family planning from your system. So those are some of the benefits of oral contraceptives. And he was also asking about the limitations. What are the disadvantages of oral contraceptive?
Okay, the disadvantage of oral contraceptive is that when you forget to take them, like most of them are taken daily for a number of days. So if you're a person who likes forgetting, when you forget to take them like when you're supposed to take them daily, it's a certain time. Let's say if you decide it's 7 a.m. in the morning, daily at 7 a.m. in the morning, you're supposed to be taking it so that it works the way it's supposed to work. So if you forget and skip, the chances of getting pregnant are high. So you should either be a person who can have access to it all the time, maybe carry it with you, or set an alarm to use, because if you forget, the chances of getting pregnant are high.
Okay. Just on you, Mona, there's somebody by the name Kamau is asking about after how long should you engage in sexual intercourse after you've taken a family planning?
It's 72 hours. For the long-term methods, it's 24 hours. Like for the long-term methods are the ones like the implants. You are able to use them after 72 hours. For the pills, it's 24 hours, and for IUCD, it's immediately. As long as it's inserted, you are safe from the moment it's inserted.
Wakili?
Yes.
I know this is not your field, but I would like to hear your views on condoms.
On condoms.
Yes.
Manasiye, you are putting me at a very tight spot, but I believe use of it is also a method of family planning, and so far for men, being a third world country, we are not really that much of a progressive society in terms of modes of family planning. So the most common and the most efficient, I would say, the most efficient method
most
of
available,
and
because
most
it's being given for free,
and the most readily available use of the most readily available family planning method for men, for us in third world countries, is use of condoms. I would also want to take this opportunity to encourage fellow men, please use condoms. Make sure prevention is better than cure, as always. We also have provisions for, like our nurse had talked about here. We have provisions for abortion also, but we are saying prevention is better than cure, and we are saying we have a method that works, that is readily available to us. We have condoms that are being given for free.
For free
in public.
And they're not giving parts for free.
Yes.
Why?
So we would like to encourage our fellow men, please, if you know that you're sexually active, if you know that you're engaging in sex, use condoms. Yes, most of us will argue that we're still too young to undergo vasectomy, so please use condoms.
So Wakili, I just want to give us our closing remarks as we end the show.
I want to first and foremost say thank you so much to Tumaini TV for giving us this opportunity to be here to speak about family planning today, to be able to, also inform our viewers about it. I would also want to say that Nyaluk Foundation is open to each and everyone. You can always visit us. We have a facility here. We have a facility in Nakuru town, that is Nakuru Nyaluk Clinic, located at Nasha Plaza along Mosque Road. You can always visit us for these family planning services. We can be able to offer services under the umbrella of the foundation. At the same time, we can also be able to offer specialized services as also professionals. We are a team of professionals in this foundation, as we have informed you. Daktari here, very experienced, will manage you very, very well. We have our nurse here, we have IT people, we have people from the legal field, we have environmentalists here, we have nutritionists. So we are a well-endowed team. We invite you to come and work with us. We invite you to come and partner with us. We have a vision, we have a mission. Let us make preventive health care accessible and affordable to people. Let us make legal information freely and affordably accessible to people. Thank you.
Mona, your closing remarks.
Okay, before my closing remarks, there was some time on social media, it said that there are pills for men for family planning, and most men were saying that they cannot use them. So I'd like to know if you have access to the pills, would you be able to use?
Now. I like the topic. Now, the pills, like the family planning for men, and this family planning, normally we call them exogenous testosterone, where they give a negative feedback to the brain. A part just below the brain, there's a part called the hypothalamus. It releases two hormones by the name luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which goes to the epididymis to release to the testes to release testosterone. So when you are given this family planning exogenous testosterone as a tablet or as an injection, it gives a negative feedback to the brain and it will stop producing testosterone. So the probability that you'll get infertile as a man and also you'll develop erectile dysfunction as a man is so high. So to close the show, I just want to thank Tumaini TV for giving us this opportunity, and this show is called Afya Yetu, brought to you courtesy of Nyaluk Foundation. We are at Nasha Plaza, Nakuru, first floor, Mosque Road, and we offer a variety of services at a very, very pocket friendly, and you can always visit us. Now we have a theater. We are collaborating with other hospitals with theater, and we have surgeons, general surgeon, obs-gynae, and orthopedic surgeons, where you have, if you have anything matters health, we are always taken care of by Nyaluk. Thank you so much, and next time we'll be talking about diabetes. Diabetes is when maybe you cannot control your sugar. We have two types of we have several types of diabetes, but we can always categorize them into two, like type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, and also we have diabetic insipidus, where we have something wrong with maybe how you are controlling your fluids and also controlling your insulin. So get us next time as we give you more information on diabetes and types of diabetes and management, and where you can always get this help when you are suffering from diabetes. It might be you or your friend or a family member, and I think if you tune in next Saturday, we'll be tackling that topic. So welcome to Afya Yetu, where we talk about all matters health on different platforms. Thank you.